Today I'm going to show you how to create great guitar solos by taking control of the rhythmical aspect of things. Often we get bogged down with playing the right notes, playing the right scales, playing the right licks, that the rhythm gets to be an afterthought. You can make great guitar solos by taking what you already know and shifting the rhythmical values around a little bit. Let's get started. The focus of today's lesson is going to be on how you play rather than what you play. We're taking a break from note selection and focusing on rhythmical choices. We'll take common phrases or licks and demand more of them by placing variations on the rhythm. These ideas should serve as a starting point and a model of how you can take what you learn to make it uniquely your own. The amount of notes in a given lick should not dictate the subdivision. That's your decision as a musician. For example, if you have a grouping of 3 notes, it doesn't automatically mean that it should be triplets. It could be, and that's one option, or it could also be played as 8th notes. Again, you impose the subdivision, not the material. Now let's take this 3-note sequence. It's very easy to assume that it's played in triplets because that's the way the sequence is grouped. But it's very important that you're intentional about the subdivision that you decide to use. For this exercise, I strongly suggest that you use a reference point, something like a metronome, a drumming track, a backing track, anything that can keep steady time for you. That way you know you're playing the right subdivision, because sometimes if we're on our own and we're trying to play around with different subdivisions, and especially if we're new to it, it can get confusing, or sometimes we might be playing the wrong thing and we might not even know it. Now let's take the 3-note sequence and play it in triplets. This is how it's going to sound. Now we'll take that same 3-note sequence, but this time we'll play it in 8th notes, and the beat behind it is going to help us identify how different it sounds from the original triplet subdivision. So as I've said, you get to dictate the rhythm. Now let's take a common blues rock lick and play some variations of that. So the first way we'll play it, it's going to be in 8th notes, pretty straightforward. Now we're going to be playing using quarter notes and half notes. These tend to get forgotten, but they're a great way to take an idea and maybe stretch it out over a longer period of time and build up to something more intense. Now we're going to chop the lick up and use a triplet rhythm on it. Now let's take another classic lick. This one's more like a Chuck Berry style thing, but it's pretty cool because you can, again, shape it in different ways by just changing the rhythm. So essentially the lick is, again, we're in A minor, and it's out of pentatonic box 1, so we're just bending on a 3rd string and the 7th fret, and then we're doing like a double stop on the 1st and 2nd string. So the lick would be... So the 2 rhythms we'll play this is 1 in 8th notes, so you could count it like, or you could do this in triplets. Simple way to take the same thing and turn it into 2 different things, and that could just be a starting point. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. So remember that you as a guitar player, as a musician, should take control of the rhythm. Don't let the groupings of notes or a specific lick or piece of music dictate what you're playing. You should be very aware of what you're doing in regards to rhythm. And also, next time you're working on a new solo or lick, try to demand more of it by seeing how many different ways you can shape it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.